Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So last time when I uploaded my lunchbox video, a lot of you requested me to make this into a regular series and share some new lunchbox recipes with you on a regular basis. So I'm glad to tell you that I'm back again with this video, and today I'm going to share 4 different lunchbox recipes with you that I packed for Paritosh this week. So let's begin with Monday. Now don't go by how this recipe looks. It doesn't look as appetizing, but it's absolutely delicious and super nutritious. What I'm making is beetroot pulao. So for that, first thing I'm doing is I've taken 2 beetroots and I'm going to peel them, chop them, and then put them up for boiling with a little bit of water and some salt in it. While this is happening, I'm also going to put up some rice on the side to start cooking. What I'm using here is brown rice, but of course you can use white rice as well. Brown rice takes a little bit more water than white rice, so I'm going to add about 2.5 cups of water for 1 cup of rice, and I'm going to put that up for cooking. And the beetroot and the rice together are going to cook, and meanwhile I'm going to start chopping up the vegetables for the pulao. So for this one I don't add a lot of vegetables, though you can add as many as you like. What I'm using are just onions and tomatoes. So I'm going to chop both of these into really small dices. So once that is done and my beetroot also comes to a boil, I'm going to switch off that gas and use these beetroot pieces to make them into a nice fine puree. I'm going to transfer the cubes of beetroot into a blending jar, and then I'm going to add a little bit of this beetroot water as well for making it into a little bit more of a liquidy consistency, and then I'm going to grind this up really well. This is the kind of consistency that you should typically have for this recipe. It shouldn't be very liquidy, nor should it be very thick in texture. So paste-like consistency is perfect. So now all the preparation is done, so we're going to start making the pulao. So in a pan I've taken a little bit of oil. To that I'm going to add some chopped onions and give it a good mix. Next I'm adding some ginger garlic paste, mixing that with the onions again, and then I'm going to add the diced tomatoes. I'm going to let this whole thing cook up really well before adding the beetroot puree. So once that was done, I added the beetroot puree, and together these 3 things I'm going to let them cook again for about 5 minutes. For seasoning, I'm going to add some salt, some red chili powder, a little bit of turmeric powder, and some coriander powder. Along with that, I've added some Kitchen King masala from Everest. I'm going to give all this a good mix. I'm going to let this whole thing cook for about 5 more minutes before moving on to the last step, which is adding the brown rice. So I'm adding the freshly made brown rice to the beetroot masala here. Mix the rice and the masala up quickly. I kind of know that this whole thing looks a little terrible because of the red color, but trust me on this, it is very tasty and super nutritious. So the beetroot pulao is ready, and I'm just going to quickly transfer this to the lunchbox, and the lunch for Monday is ready. If you're somebody who doesn't like the taste of beetroot, do try this out, because you will absolutely not even feel that there is any kind of beetroot in this recipe except for the fact that it looks that red. I'm just going to top this up with some freshly chopped coriander leaves, and yeah, the lunchbox is ready. Moving on to Tuesday now, I packed him a really quick lunchbox recipe, this aloo ki sabzi that both of us really like, along with some rotis. So for that, I'm going to add some chopped tomatoes to a blending jar, and I'm going to make it into a puree. Make sure that the puree comes out nice and fine. Once this is done, we're going to start making the sabzi. So for that, in a pan I've taken a little bit of oil. To that I'm going to add some cumin seeds. Don't skip this step because it adds a lot of flavor. And then I've added a little bit of ginger garlic paste, and then I'm going to add the puree of tomato as well. I'm going to mix this up really well. And for seasoning, I'm adding some salt, some turmeric powder, a little bit of red chili powder, and of course some coriander powder as well. I'm going to mix all of this up together, and then I'm going to let the tomatoes come to a quick boil so that they cook up completely. Once the tomatoes seem to be nicely done, I'm going to add 2 whole boiled and mashed potatoes here. I had already boiled and mashed the potatoes and kept them in the fridge the night before. This way this recipe comes out to be a really quick thing to do in the morning. So I'm going to mix up the potatoes really well with the tomato masala. If need be, you can add a little bit of water as well. I did add a little bit of water because over time, when you pack it in the lunchbox, the gravy also thickens a little. And in about 5 minutes of time, the sabzi is ready. I'm just going to top it with some freshly chopped coriander leaves. Mix it up with the rest of the sabzi. And that's it. The sabzi is done. With that, I'm going to make 2 chapatis to pack with it. Of course, I'm making whole wheat chapatis. Paritosh generally doesn't like taking chapatis for lunch. He prefers either taking rice or something else. But since chapatis are super healthy, I try to pack them in his lunchbox at least once a week. Of course, it doesn't happen every week, but I try to do it as often as I can. So once the chapatis are ready, I'm going to pack the sabzi in his lunchbox. And that's it. Lunch for Tuesday is also ready. Moving on to Wednesday now, I gave him our absolute favorite chickpea salad. So for this, overnight I had soaked some chickpeas or chole, and I'm now going to drain the water and give it a good rinse with some fresh water as well. Next, I'm going to transfer this to a pressure cooker, add some water, enough water to soak all the chickpeas, add some salt, and then I'm going to put it up on the gas to cook for about 3 to 4 whistles. So while this is cooking on the side, I'm going to start prepping up the vegetables. So first thing I'm going to chop is some lettuce leaves. I'm using romaine lettuce here, but you can use any other lettuce of your choice again. I'm going to transfer that to a salad mixing bowl. Next, I'm adding some fresh bell pepper. I know a lot of people don't like having raw bell pepper, but Paritosh and I totally love it. If you don't like it, you can absolutely skip it. It's not a necessary part of this recipe. Again, going to transfer this to the salad mixing bowl. Next, I'm going to peel and add some carrots. I'm using 1 whole carrot here, and I'm going to make it into small dices. Transfer this to the salad bowl as well. Next, I'm adding tomatoes. I'm using 2 tomatoes here, again chopping them into small dices and then transferring them to the same bowl. And the last thing that I'm going to add here are some cucumbers. I'm using 1 whole cucumber. Again, I'm going to chop it into small dices. Adding this to the bowl again. And that's it, all the vegetables are prepped up. Next, I'm going to work on the dressing, and this is what makes the recipe super delicious. So in a blending jar, I'm going to add about 5 to 6 cashews, some fresh black pepper pods, and a little bit of salt. I'm going to add few drops of water to make it into a liquidy kind of a consistency, and then I'm going to blend this up and make it into a thick paste. Keep blending it till it comes to a consistency like this. Not very runny, kind of paste like. Meanwhile, the chickpeas are also done here, they're nicely boiled. So let's begin with assembling the salad. In the same bowl, I'm going to add the chickpeas as well. And then I'm going to top it with the salad dressing that we just made. Typically, this salad is kind of like a Caesar salad, but Caesar salad generally has a lot of mayonnaise in it, which is super unhealthy. This dressing is like a very, very healthy alternative to your regular mayo dressing, and you won't even feel the difference in taste. Take this from me in writing. So I'm going to toss all the salad up really well, and then I'm going to pack it up in his lunchbox. Even if it's just a salad, it actually makes for a very, very filling lunchbox. So in the end, I'm going to just add a little bit more dressing on the top. And that's it, the lunchbox for Wednesday is ready. It's super delicious, so colorful and super tasty. Moving on to Thursday. So this Thursday I made some millet noodles. I recently went to my supermarket and I actually found these millet noodles, which I thought were a very interesting idea. So for this, I'm going to boil the noodles with some water and some salt, and once they're nicely boiled, I'm going to drain the water and leave the noodles on the side till I start working on the masala or the sauce for this noodles. So for the masala or the sauce, in the pan I have taken a little bit of oil. I'm using olive oil here. Sesame oil should also go well with this. Next, I'm adding some finely chopped garlic pieces. And then I'm going to add some mixed vegetables. So last night itself I had chopped up and I kept some mixed vegetables in the fridge for this recipe. So for this I've added some carrots, some beans, a little bit of bell peppers and some cabbage as well, along with a little bit of spring onion. For the sauces, I'm adding some red chili sauce. If you like your food to be a little sweeter, then you can add some tomato sauce as well. Next, I'm adding some Japanese style low sodium soy sauce, a decent drizzle of this on the whole thing. And then I'm going to mix all the vegetables with the sauces. Next, I'm going to add some salt to this. Be sure to add very little salt because the noodles were also cooked in salt and the sauces also have a little bit of it. And once this is ready, I'm going to add the noodles to the sauce. I like how colorful these millet noodles are. I'm going to mix it up very well with the masala. Let it cook together for about a minute and that's it. The whole thing is ready. I'm just going to quickly transfer this to the lunch box. And yeah, the lunchbox for Thursday is also ready. So that's it for today, guys. These were the 4 lunchboxes that I packed for Paritosh this week. They're perfect for a working couple as they're very easy to make and at the same time they're super quick and delicious. Do let me know if you found this video useful and you like the recipes. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, share it with people who you think might find this useful, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will see you next time in my next video. Bye bye.